Staying with Zimbabwe, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed into law a bill that imposes tough new sanctions that have to be met before sanctions are lifted. President Emerson Mnangagwa has said that his country is open for business, but this new law, known as the Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Amendment Act, could alter those plans as far as the U.S. is concerned. The U.S. law says that in order for sanctions to end, the election has to be widely accepted as free and fair. One condition mentioned is that the army has to respect the fundamental rights and freedoms of all persons and to be non-biased in character. The United Nations has welcomed the announcement of Burundi's president to end his mandate in 2020, offering full support to his elected successor. The special envoy of the UN Secretary General for Burundi, Michael Kafando, says this announcement by the president were key elements in the efforts to resolve the crisis in the country. He called on the government and political actors to seize this opportunity to create a new environment that would form national unity and peace. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni says he hopes that the South Sudan refugees in the country will return home following the signing of a peace deal by President Salva Kiir and rebel leader Riek Machar. In a statement issued by his office, he urged the United Nations to support the around 1 million refugees in regards to food and basic essentials. About 2 million South Sudanese are internally displaced, while a similar number have sought refuge in neighboring countries. Uganda's welcoming attitude towards refugees has been praised by the UN and other international organizations. On Sunday, South Sudan's warring party signed a ceasefire and power-sharing deal to end nearly 5 years of civil war. In Kenya, the environmental agency is leading a massive operation to demolish an iconic mall in the capital, Nairobi. The UK centre, which houses a big supermarket and other small shops, was reduced to rubble by excavators. Local media reports that the mall had been built on a wetland and owners of the building had failed to get a court injunction to save the $9 million property. Authorities say the operations are part of a regeneration plan for Nairobi. At least 4,000 buildings have been identified for demolition because they sit on land in a river catchment area or areas earmarked for public utilities and roads. 4 brothers are taking advantage of improved security in Somalia to run a farm that supplies fresh milk to customers in Mogadishu. Somalia has suffered 2 decades of civil war that not only hampered business but deepened poverty and lawlessness.
Parts of Somalia are still plagued by Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab, but a degree of stability in the capital in recent years has begun to attract investment from locals and Somalis living abroad. Some businessmen see opportunities in the livestock industry, whose mainstay is traditional breeds of cattle bred by pastoralists, which produce little milk. A devastating drought last year killed off thousands of head of cattle and camels. 49-year-old Yusuf Dahir, who manages some dairy with his brothers, says they have so far spent over $300,000 importing cattle and building infrastructure for milk production, processing and distribution.
We have invested $370,000 in the business. We invested that amount because we want to revive the dairy industry that was destroyed during the war and whose products lost value. We invested because we want Somalis to get animals with high production.
The dairy, 2 kilometers outside the capital, produces 600 liters of milk daily from 35 cows. There are 54 dairy cows in total on the property, but some are not being milked due to calving. The first batch of Holstein Friesian cows, which are native to the Netherlands and Germany, died due to the heat in the Horn of the African region, where temperatures average above 30 degrees Celsius.
The cows could not cope with the weather. When they were first brought from abroad, some of the cows died because they could not endure the climate. After we made much effort, it took the cows 1.5 years to become familiar with the climate of Somalia.
Local farmers have been impressed by the new breeds of cows in town and several have brought their local herds to crossbreed them with the imported bulls. According to the government's Director of Livestock, Mohammed Omar, the venture is one of 2 local dairies in the country of 14 million people. A veterinary doctor working at some dairy, Abdirahman Dubad, says he has worked with a laboratory at the University of Somalia to prevent diseases including brucellosis and tuberculosis. The farm is substituting expensive, imported feeds for the animals with local produce like wheat, maize, beans and cassava, which are grinded and mixed with calcium supplements. Local production of feeds is keeping costs down. Residents of the Red Sea capital of Mogadishu are developing a taste for fresh milk after years of drinking powdered milk imported from the Gulf that is mixed with water.
Still to come on the program, our Africa Tech segment takes a look at how financial technology makes an impact for small and medium-scale businesses. Please stay with us.